Now, earlier this month, Texas Water Development Board adopted the 2024 State Flood Plan. It is the first ever comprehensive statewide assessment of flood risks and solutions. By the way, the TWDB is a state agency that addresses water needs in our state. Board member Lorio Stepney joins us on Midday to break down this plan. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. So what's the purpose of a state flood plan?
Well, the purpose of a state flood plan is for us to get a statewide assessment of all of the flood risk in the state and how local entities partnering with the state can help to mitigate those risks. Ultimately, our focus is to protect life and property.
Sure. And something that struck me about this plan, there's like 4,600 solutions and remedies, right? Can you kind of tell us what those 4,600 plans are?
Absolutely. There's 4,600 different proposed strategies in the plan statewide. So those include things such as studies that can be done to see where flood infrastructure needs to be placed. It also includes structural and non-structural strategies such as building flood walls or levees or looking at stormwater drainage, as well as, non-structural things such as early warning systems for low water crossings, which is very, very important to communities.
No, absolutely. And so how many people and structures would be removed from those flood risk if these strategies go into effect?
Well, right now we estimate that 1 in 6 Texans live in high-risk flood areas, that they either live or work in those areas. And so these strategies are focused on mitigating, pulling those structures and people out of harm's way.
It was a pretty significant number. It's like almost 1 million people, right,
Yes.
would be removed from the dangers of, what is it, 100-year flood?
Yes, it's 1.7 million people currently are in those flood-prone areas.
Yeah. And so how much does this plan cost? We kind of teased it. It costs a lot.
Yes, it costs $54 billion if all of the strategies are implemented, all of those 4,600 strategies are implemented. 54.5 billion. It's quite a hefty sum, but the local entities and partnering with the state can prioritize their budgets and look and see what's really important to do. It's a baseline for us all to look at and strive to achieve.
Why is this so important?
Well, we've all experienced, either us personally or our families or friends of our families have experienced the impact of flood. Here locally, there were we've all heard of the Wimberley floods. We've heard of Hurricane Harvey, and we all know of the destruction that those flood events did. And so focusing on flood is very, very important because of the impact it can have on life and property. In Texas, we have droughts, and those are very familiar to us, but we also have these really devastating floods.
It's all about extreme weather here in Texas, isn't it, Lorio?
Yes.
All right, so what are the next steps for this $54 billion plan? How do we implement that?
Well, there's 15 planning groups around the state, 350 volunteers, and they're on the job. They're looking at the strategies that have been proposed in the statewide flood plan, and they're looking at ways to implement that. The Texas legislature, in their foresight, they've identified some funding. It's called under the Flood Infrastructure Fund. The Texas Water Development Board administers that fund. We've committed over $600 million for 140 projects statewide. So the next step is, number one, make sure folks are aware that there is a flood plan, and they can look on our website and look at their location and see what impact the flooding has for them. And secondly, for us to work with the local partners to put those projects in place.
And so this plan goes before lawmakers coming up, producing the governor, lieutenant governor next month, right?
We send it to state leadership. It was adopted by the board August 15th. The next step is to forward it on to state leadership.
And of course, we need to find additional funding. You said 600 million, big number, but 54 billion is an even bigger number, right?
Right. And the local sponsors are mainly responsible for most of the funding, but the legislature has provided some additional funding, over $1 billion total over 2 bienniums to help subsidize those efforts.
Okay, we can go on about this, but we are running out of time. Lorio, thank you so much for
joining
us to discuss this important topic.
And we're excited about it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.